All right, guys, here we are again. Here we are again. I got a chance to hear that. I did sound like I was rapping. I saw what y'all were talking about. Oh, my goodness. That is, I'm going to leave the rapping to the rappers. Come on back in here. Let's get started again. Take two. We're going to try it again. Come on this Friday. Let's see what we've got. All right. So I'll give everybody a chance to get back in. We had a strong following. Hopefully you all can get on back in and join us. We got some good stuff. Y'all like my star earrings, my yellow stars. Look at that. Shine. So your kid can be a star. Look at that. Look at that. All right, come on in. We got anybody watching? Got anybody watching? All right, let's see who is watching us. There we go. Mama Diane is back. Welcome. Everybody said, whoa, we can't hear you. You sound like you're rapping. I knew that was not the vibe I was going for. I'm definitely not a rapper. We've got Auntie Cousin Tina as my kiddos. Call her Tina Woods. Come on in, grab a friend. Come on in and grab a friend. Grab a friend. Who else is coming in? I know y'all are coming back. Come on back. Come 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 back. All right, we got Sissy in the building. Sissy, you didn't like me on the ones and twos, I see. I got to stick to my day job. No rapping for me, apparently. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. We had several people. Hopefully they will join us again because we definitely want them to be here. All right, Auntie Brenda made it back. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Come on in. Y'all, my chargers won't work. This is just... You know it's going to be a good one when your stuff won't cooperate. Why won't my stuff cooperate? Chargers aren't doing what they're supposed to. But that's all right. We're going to make it happen. Who else we got joining us? We're going to make it happen regardless, people, because that's what we do at Focus on It Friday. Can y'all hear me pretty good now? Can you hear me? I don't sound like I'm rapping, do I? Nothing against rappers, but I don't do that well. I don't do that well. All right, Auntie Julia says that they can hear me now over on the east side. Did you go far east to celebrate with my cousin, or are you just in Birmingham East? I saw it was her birthday yesterday. That's one of my special cousins, Ashley Bell. She had a birthday yesterday. We've got Miss Diane Watson. She's joining us. Hello. Thank you so much. We're going to give everybody just one more minute. Ooh, we got a late start, but we had some technical difficulties. Didn't know that would happen. Birmingham East. All right. Well, we're glad that you are here and you are safe in Birmingham East. Well, we'll go ahead and get started, guys. I am Dr. Brandy B., your triple board certified pediatrician, adult psychiatrist, and child and adolescent psychiatrist. And what do? I help moms. I help dads. I help grandparents, aunts, uncles, auntie cousins, and whoever else it is that needs to understand children. Needs to understand how they're operating, who needs to understand ADHD. That's what I do. I'm an ADHD expert, and I am the author, best-selling author of the book, Shine, Understanding ADHD So Your Child Can Be a Star. Y'all like my star earrings. I thought those were kind of cute. They had this little place, little cheap little insurance jewelry place, y'all. They may fall apart before the video is over. But they weren't but like, $1.50. So we just gonna let it do what it do, as my Auntie Julia would say. Jessica Wallace says, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hello, hello. How are you? Keena says it sounds amazing. Now we're gonna jump right into it. Now, I originally thought we would do a Ask the Psychiatrist because I've been getting so many questions, y'all. So many questions. Because I posted a map on my personal Facebook page with all of the states where I'm licensed. And y'all, that caused quite a overflowing of congratulatory comments, which I was not expecting. I didn't know that it would be quite a big deal that someone would be licensed in several states. But it was. People were exceedingly excited, and I'm so appreciative for that. And what that let me know is that I did not need to post that to my professional page until I was ready to start seeing patients in all of those states. But it also led to a lot of questions, a lot of inquiries about, are you seeing patients? Hey, my kid has this. I need to see you, and that sort of thing. And to be honest, guys, I am just slammed. I am booked. I am slammed. It's just crazy how a girl can stay so busy, just really focusing on one thing, but seeing all of them. I actually saw 3 adults yesterday, a college child, and also 2 ladies in their 30s, both with anxiety. And so everybody always says, you see other stuff too. I do, but somehow people came to believe and to know that I love treating ADHD. And so when their children have not been getting better, I'm the person they come see. I mean, I didn't even know, y'all. That's what it is, though. And so there's just been a lot of questions about, hey, I think my child has this. I think I have this. What can we do about that? And so I thought we'll do Ask the Psychiatrist. Well, I got no questions. And that's okay, because y'all know I can talk about anything, anytime, all the time, whenever the time. It doesn't matter to me. Hello, Miss Yolanda Renee Johnson. Thank you for watching, Miss Kimberly Shields. Thank you for watching. And my auntie, Miss Luella Marbury from church, y'all. That's one of my good church members. You know you got good church members. She is definitely one of my good church members. We appreciate her. She's been rocking with me, y'all, since the beginning of Focus on It Friday, way back in May of 2020. We need to do a celebration, y'all. Don't we need to? I am looking for a reason to have a good party. I think we may have a Focus on It Friday party. I started in May of 2020. So in 3 years, we've had people to come and go. I guess I kind of help them get what they need and they move on. And then we've had our few staples, and Miss Luella is certainly one of them. And so we appreciate you so much, because you could be doing anything on a Friday, but you come hang out with me, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. All of you all are special to me. And I think that's one of the things that sets me apart, is that everybody really is special. Oh my goodness, so many special people in my life. Oh Lord, how can I do it? Because you're all so special to me, and I love to hear you all. All right, so we got Miss Janice Pilato. Thank you for watching. Sounds good to me, says Auntie Julia. All right, Auntie Julia says, hey, don't forget me. I've been coming too. She sure has been rocking it out with a Focus on It Friday. And I want to just mention that these are the people that do not have young grandchildren, or children that they are parenting themselves, and they come and support, and I appreciate that. But what we want to talk about is love. All right, so since I got no questions, if you have a question, it is still Ask the Psychiatrist, like it is every week. You can ask me your questions, but I do like to set aside time where we just focus on your questions if you have them. So if you have a burning question, there's a fly in here. If you have a burning question, just go ahead and put it in the chat, and we will get it taken care of. Mama says, hello, Mama. So glad to have you join me. All these people are like, wait, don't forget me. Everybody on here been coming a long time. How about that? Mama been coming a long time. Tina's been coming a long time. Sissy's been coming a long time. Everybody's been coming a long time. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all dearly. Okay, so since we don't have any questions, if you do have a question, just type it. I'll address it. You know how I do. But we want to talk about love today. I thought, so everybody knows I'm Christian, and if you don't, you know now. And so that means that as Christians, we believe that Jesus died on Good Friday, right? And on Easter Sunday, he rose. And, when we're thinking about that, for someone to be able to give up their life, to go through suffering, pain, ridicule, to sign up to go for that. I mean, I don't know that I'd do that, y'all. I mean, it's a good thing that I was not the one who was set up to be responsible for saving folk, because if they had told me people gonna spit on you, they gonna put some thorns around your head, child, I wouldn't have done it. So y'all better thank God for Jesus and him being willing to do that. But it is an act of love, and so we want to talk about love. So Miss Jessica Wallace says, are you accepting new patients? Yes ma'am, I am. Tell me where you are, Miss Jessica. But we are accepting new patients, and we're going to talk about that at the end as well. We're going to talk about that at the end. So learn what your child needs. That's the L for love. Love, L-O-V-E. Learn what your child needs. And that's not just your minor child, right? Learn what your adult child needs. Now, adult kids, y'all know, now these adult kids, I am just looking from the outside on my siblings and my husband's siblings who have adult kids. Y'all, these adult kids are something else. I'm talking about these 20-year-old adult kids, not the 50 and 60-year-old adult kids, but these 20-year-old kids that you can't pick them up and take them anywhere, and they think they got it together, but y'all, they don't have it together. How do y'all do that? I mean, people laughed at me because I had diapers to change, and I was, a non-traditional mother, if you will, being 36 when my first was born. But child, I was like, y'all are dealing with these 20-somethings who think they have life figured out, and they have not. But we have to love them anyway. And so we need to learn what their needs are. Even with my siblings, we didn't need my mother in the same way. And so giving love to one child in a way that they don't need it is not beneficial for you. In fact, it's frustrating for you and it's frustrating for them too. They may go ahead and just push you away because they're like, I don't need you for that. So actually stepping back and learning what your child needs is going to be key. Learning what they need. What else do they need after you learn it? They need you to be free from drugs. So many of our kids are using substances, but it's because they started with their parents. So your kids, when we're talking about learn what your children need, they need you to be free from drugs. They need you to be mentally and physically well. So many of us are walking around and we are not mentally or physically well. I started a challenge with my family right now. And they said, oh, Lord, you're trying to take me out. You're trying to kill me. It's the exact opposite. I'm trying to get you to live. If you can live longer, then that means that you don't need me to help you do stuff. You can do it for yourself. And I can do what I need to do for myself. So what else do your kids need? They want you to live a long, happy life. But believe it or not, they want you to live a long, happy life by yourself for as long as you can. They probably don't mind bringing you to their home. But at the same time, if you could live at yours and be healthy and whole and drive and have your good mind, that's probably what they would want as well. And then sometimes, depending upon who the child is, what they're going to need is for you to plan what will happen for them after you have died, right? So many times I run into families where the child is probably going to need someone to care for them for as long as they live. And the natural progression of things is that parents die before their kids. That's just the reality. And so when I say to them, who's going to care for them when you are no longer around, they act as if I started speaking some foreign language. They can't fathom it. They've not asked anybody. They don't know. They have no idea what's going to happen to that child. And then sometimes they might say, well, their sibling is going to take care of them. And I'm like, well, did you run that by their sibling? Because perhaps their sibling has other plans in mind. And you're going to have to come to grips with the fact that the sibling may not have taken care of their sibling in their plans. And I don't know if it means that they love them any less. It just may mean that if they've decided they don't want kids, big or old, that they don't want to be responsible for their kids. So these are things that we all have to do. When we're talking about loving our children, we have to learn what it is that they need. And that may be what they need today, what they need tomorrow, or what they need forevermore. And we just really need to get in the habit of loving people the way that they want to be loved. If I don't like potatoes, but you love them, but every time you come around me, you express your love to me by bringing me potatoes, I don't sense any love in that. In fact, I wonder if you want to take me out, right? Because it could be that I'm allergic to them or whatever else. So let's just normalize loving people the way that they want to be loved. And most people will tell you how it is that they want to be loved. So Miss Jessica says that she's in Birmingham. Miss Karen is in Jasper. Absolutely. I'm at the Community Mental Health Center there. So you can find me there in Jasper. You can also find me at my private practice, Rudolph Bowling Psychiatry. Go ahead and get on the list. Some exciting things are coming up, so go ahead and get on the list at Rudolph Bowling Psychiatry if that is what you choose to do. All right, so the L in loving anybody is learn what they need. Learn what they need. Now, O is obedient. You want to be obedient to God and teach them the importance of being obedient, period. Now, I will just tell you, as somebody who deals with kids all the time, sees what it is that kids do, how they grow up, I will tell you that these kids these days don't want to be obedient to anybody. That's to their parents, that's to their teachers, that's to the law. That is a bad setup, and we are not doing them any favors when we make them believe that they are above the law. No one actually is above the law. And the quicker we can get them to understand that they need to follow first our instructions and our rules, then those of the school, then those of the land, the better off we will be. We've got to be obedient to the ideas of right and wrong, right? We got to be obedient to the ideas of discipline. And you don't have to spank your kids to discipline. And if you do or if you don't, that's your prerogative. Just make sure that you understand the rules of your governing city or county about what makes abuse out of a spanking. And then you got to be obedient to loving others and treating folks the way that you want to be treated. I think that every child, you know, these days, and mine included, I have to be careful about that. And, you know, it's not me versus anybody. No, nobody's after you. Whatever is for you you're going to get it. Now, on occasion, you may have to go fight it, but in general, being nice still is a good thing. It is still a good thing. So we have to be obedient. We have to follow rules. And if you do nothing else today, it should be to help your child understand that there are rules in life and that they will have to follow them. Parents, it is our job to enforce rules. Children want structure. They want structure. Despite what their mouths tell you and their behaviors say, they want to know that we care enough to come to the school and act up on them if that's what they deserve. They also want to know that we care enough to come to the school when they're getting the most, meaningless, trivial rewards. That may be our thinking, but to them, it could be the world. And so we have to make sure that we are being obedient, and that whatever rules that we set, that we follow through and that we're consistent. I can't tell you enough how much being consistent matters. Sometimes in this parenting thing, it gets kind of weary, right? And so if you've got a good helper, a good partner, a good village, then you can say, you know what, I'm getting weak. I'm about to give in. I just need somebody to come around here and help me out. So we've got to learn to make sure that our children are obedient, because there are rules everywhere they go. Somebody said, I want to grow up and I don't want to have a boss. I'm going to own my own business. And I reminded them that when you own your own business, all of a sudden now all of your customers become your boss, because all it takes is to say or do the wrong thing to the wrong person. And in this day of social media and cell phones and computers in our hands, they record it, they get you out of character, they get you saying something you shouldn't have said, say the wrong word, and now you blast it on social media and you got a whole situation. So you thought, I'll just start a business and I won't have a boss, but instead it turns out that everybody is now your boss instead of just the one person that was named when you were an employee. So we've got to get used to following rules, being obedient, doing what's right. It always, always, always pays off. So we're talking about how do we love our kids. We're going to learn what it is that they need. And that doesn't have to be with our kids. Learn what our partners need, our spouses, our parents, right? We have to, and what our parents need. And people talk about, I'm raising my parents and they're not cooperative, right? Because that role, it begins to reverse. But you still need to learn what their needs are. And no matter what their need is, still to be respected as your parent. We've got to remember that our parents are old, but they ain't crazy. They ain't lost their marbles. They still know more than you because of life. Even if you got a bigger degree, a higher degree, they still have life. They have years on you. They watched you while you were going through that. So we have to remember to love people the way that they need to be loved. And then we have to learn to be in love, obedient to the laws of the land, obedient to social laws, just being courteous, telling people thank you, telling people no thank you, telling people you're welcome. Okay, all of these courtesies are still very important, and we have to teach that stuff at home. Now, the V is that we have to be verbal and advocate for our kids. We have to be verbal and advocate for our kids. Now, why do I add that here? I add that because sometimes whatever your child may need may not just come naturally. It may be that you have to take off and go to the school. You may have to be on the call. You may have to demand that they do it by Zoom. You may have to ask the teacher for a meeting to figure out what's going on. But you've got to be verbal. That's your V. You got to be verbal. You've got to protect your children from abuse. And remember, most abuse is going to come from somebody who is close to the victim, close to your boyfriend, your husband, your girlfriend, your wife, any of those things, right? Their biological father, their biological mother, any of these could be the reasons that a child or the perpetrator for a child being abused. So make sure that you protect your child. When you're talking about being verbal and advocating, part of that being verbal is doing those affirmations. If you listen to me, you know that I talk a lot about those I am statements. I am great. I am a good mother. My kids will succeed. We are doing well. We will be wealthy. All of those things, those affirmations that keep you positive and uplifted. You've got to believe in your kids. That is another thing that comes with being verbal. Tell them. Right? So we talked about initially learning what their love language is, but then you got to tell them every once in a while, you got to say, I love you. If your child has never heard you say, I love you, then that's going to make for a child who just might go out and find somebody else who will. And we don't know who that person might be, what their character is, what their actions are, nor what else they're telling your child as well. So make sure that every day you tell your children how much you love them, and then make sure you tell them how good looking they are. Because sometimes if they don't hear it from you, they are still looking for that and that validation in others, and that is not what we want. And then the last thing in being verbal again is working with the school to get them what they need. Again, nobody can advocate for your kids like you can. I can't do it because I'm stuck in my building, seeing patients behind the screen. The school can't do it because, I mean, if you're lucky, you'll get a school that really is fighting for you. But if everybody at the school seems to think you're the problem, or the kid is the problem, they don't understand what the kid is. They look at the kid as a problem because they don't understand it. Like I said, you then have to make sure that you go in and advocate for them. And then the last thing is to encourage. So we talked about love. How do you love someone? How do you love your child with ADHD? How do you love a child who has a special need? You learn what the child needs. You teach them obedience, because love is obedient. You're verbal and you advocate for them. And then the E is to encourage them. Listen, so many kids, y'all, like I said, they don't hear I love you. They don't hear good job. I can't tell you how many times I'll say to a family that comes in, and from the time they sit down and I come on camera, they are just fussing. He did this, and he didn't do that, and he didn't do that, and he didn't do that. And I'll ask them, well, what does the child do good? And a parent told me yesterday, straight up, nothing. And oh my goodness. I'm looking at the child like he's at least breathing. I think he's doing that all right. I don't hear him wheezing. He's not on any oxygen. He's at least breathing good, but that mama couldn't come up with anything. Right? So can you imagine if that's the household that you're living in, where it is already assumed you don't do anything right? The drive to then do right is diminished. If I don't feel like anybody is going to applaud me when I do right, I'm not likely to do it, unless I just have something in me that makes me want to do right. You got to believe in them. You got to believe in them. You got to meet them where they are, right? So people say all the time, well, do you and your husband tell your children to be doctors and lawyers? No. I'll tell them to be whatever it is that they want to be. But I let them know that if they, if whatever they want to be doesn't match whatever kind of income they might think they need, they might want to rethink that. But I don't discourage that, especially not their age, right? I've got to meet them where they are. They're 4, 6, and 8. So they want to be police officers and firefighters and a princess. Sounds good to me for a 4-year-old to want to be a princess. No need for me to rush that along. Hopefully at some point she'll realize she's not a princess. And number 2, I'm not really sure how much that pays unless she's going to move over to Orlando or LA and join the cast where princesses live. We need to always make sure that we're pushing our kids forward. Not away, but forward. So many parents have pushed kids away, and they think they're moving them forward, but they're moving them away, to the side and away from them. And so we want to make sure that when we're really loving them, we're listening to what they're saying. So oftentimes people are shocked that I don't tell my kids to go to medical school. I'm not. I don't. I would love for them to be able to see patients right now because I need some help. But if they're not interested in this sort of grind that I have, I'm going to encourage them to do what interests them so that they can thrive and find their passion like I found mine and like their dad found his. But that is a part of love. That is a part of growth. Somebody right now is saying, I don't believe my child is autistic. I don't believe my child has ADHD. I don't believe my child has a learning disorder. I don't believe my child is depressed. I don't believe I'm depressed. And so I want to encourage you to meet your child where they are. There's something that lives deep down inside of you that tells you there is something going on with this child. And once you get a diagnosis, 9 times out of 10, you already know what you suspect what it is. Once that diagnosis is confirmed, hug that baby and then go back to the top. Find out what their needs are. Make sure that they know that even though they may have X, Y, and Z, they still need to clean their room. Be verbal about advocating for them, and then make sure that you encourage them. It's the same no matter what. Child got a C on report card. In Birmingham, report cards came out after that. Your child got all C's, but you think they can all make all A's or B's? Okay, find out what do they need. What do they need? Learn what they need to make those better grades. Maybe they can't focus. Maybe they don't need to be in the honors classes. Maybe they need the standard diploma. I don't know. I don't know who these kids are. I'm just giving you different options that may be going on. Then you want to teach them about obedience. Obedience in some other ways means routine, being structured, doing things the same. They got to study, right? If they want those grades to come up, they've got to be verbal and asking for help. And then depending upon their age, you've got to be verbal and asking the teacher, hey, why did we not get a phone call before we realized that the child had all C's when last grading period they had all A's? And then E, you got to encourage them. I always remember my mom and my dad saying, you can be whatever you want to. My dad didn't really, understand what it was that I was doing. And he would oftentimes ask, why do kids need somebody like you? Well, if he were alive now, he would understand why they did. Just a multitude of things that kids go through and experience that he may not have gone through. And certainly I didn't either. And so it is odd. But here's the matter. Kids don't have to go through anything to need to see a mental health provider, right? Because remember what I always say, 100% of human beings need a little bit of therapy. We just do, because life is traumatic and it comes at you fast, as my mama says. So we have to be on ready with our therapist, on speed dial, just in case. And it's always better if you have that patient relationship established, all right? Now, we've got some amen, some hello from Katina Mays, so home. Dr. Inkarika is here with us. Pi Upsilon Sigma, 1914 is watching, and we thank you. Miss Brady Churchill Alexander is also watching. Y'all have been amazing. Any questions you have? We're talking about love, what it is that your kids need to move forward, what your spouse needs, right? I was talking to somebody, and they said, Lord, the home situation is just messed up because the people don't agree, right, with what's going on with the child. So we got to work on that. We got to learn what that person needs. We got to make sure that we give them some education. And then we're going to pray about it a little bit and see if that helps it. All right. If there are no questions, I do want to tell you about a few things. Tomorrow is He Said, She Said. If you follow our radio show, that'll be my husband, Fred, and me. We will be on my husband, Fred, and I will be on the radio tomorrow. And that is at 10 o'clock Central. I'll post that when we hang up. Also, make sure you're following me on Dr. Brandy B, which is where you are right now. And then if you want to keep up with me via email, go ahead and type ADHD to 33777. ADHD to 33777. That's going to get you in my email queue. And I promise you there are going to be some things coming up that you're going to want to know about. They're going to be announced on email as well as my show, but the emails are going to come directly to you. You don't have to worry about Facebook missing something. Miss Jessica Wallace says, what station? Lord, I think it's 92.1, but hold on. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to go and post the flyer. We got Dr. Cree coming on tomorrow. Dr. Cree, we're going to be talking about keeping things fresh, in the light of Easter being the following day. We're going to talk about fresh starts, new beginnings in relationships. It should be good. Dr. Cree is amazing. I love her so much. Dr. Cree is a wifelogist. So she helps the working, busy wife make sure that they keep up with themselves. Because sometimes, guys, we can lose ourselves being a worker, being a wife, being a mommy, being everything to every people, but not anything or not enough to ourselves. And so she's hosting a Wifelology conference, which is for a weekend conference at Lake Lanier in Georgia. I think it's the 22nd, that weekend of July. Gonna be a treat. I'm speaking at that. I've got some things coming up from you all. If you've been around a while, you know about Mommy's Time Out. You also know about my other speaking engagement where I did a lot of educational information like what I do now, but it's compact, condensed, and we're gonna do it all one day. That'll be coming up soon, probably in June. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. Both of my conferences will, at least the educational one will definitely be virtual. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Mommy's Time Out yet, but we're going to have a good time nonetheless. All right, guys, that is it for me. I love you all so much. I hope you have a great, great, great Easter, and we will see each other next week. Bye. Till next time, I'm Dr. Brandy B, your triple board certified pediatrician, adult psychiatrist, and child and adolescent psychiatrist. And through my Facebook live stream, Focus on It Friday, as well as my best-selling book, Shine, Understanding ADHD so your child can be a star. I have worried moms, dads, granddads, uncles, auntie, cousins, and all the like get all the education that they need so that they can help the loved ones in their life be successful in the classroom and in life. If you need me and you're not my patient, go ahead and send me a message. You can also email me at drbrandy@drbrandyb.com. If you are my patient and you have a clinical question, please call the office. Your question will not be addressed. Call the office. Call the office. Call the office, because that's where your chart is, and that is where I will know how to find it. Kina has posted that the radio station is 92.5 and 1260 AM. So 92.5 is the FM station, 1260 AM obviously is AM. And we're just so excited that you are even considering joining us tomorrow. We are hoops. My husband and I, we have fun. Kina's there usually in the studio with us to put out the fights that we have going on. A little friendly battle. All right, guys, that is it. I will see you all next week. And if you need me, let me know. Until next time, y'all take care. And enjoy the warm weather. Hopefully it's warm wherever you are. Talk to you later. Bye.